Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Timmy B Tournament Week number 5. I am Fourth Oracle, joined by Rotted Beef, and we are already looking down the barrel of our third match of the day. This is going really fast.
It is. I mean, you called it at the beginning. When you get nothing but glass cannons in a single match, it's gonna be. Two things are gonna happen. Either one, everyone's gonna die really quickly. Two, there's gonna be a lot of cleanup afterwards.
Yeah, everyone's gonna get glass shards in their feet.
Yeah.
Good God. We are getting underway, hopefully pretty quickly. And I'm going to assume that we do not. So this one's Battle on the Dunes. So we saw Northern Fjords. That went quick. The engagements tended to last longer, but the game, I'd say, they actually lasted about the same amount of time. I thought that the Canyon Ambush game would have lasted significantly longer because the teams would be waiting to engage. The engagements were so short that nobody could do anything about it.
Yeah. I mean, as far as this particular map goes, I feel like it's definitely going to be interesting because on one hand, you do have the option of being a lot more snipey because that's typically what you think of when you think of Battle on the Dunes. But because you can't have 3 sniping ships technically, we're gonna see some people kind of being forced into that brawling situation here.
No, what it means is the Watch Aspire is going to run and hide while the other two try and get the kills.
Okay, that might also happen.
I think that's more likely. Here we go. We're underway. For the red team, we have the Hydra's Sentinel being piloted by Trivy. It is our Watch Aspire for this time around with an Echidna up top, oddly enough, and some Gatling Whiskers on the side. We have the another Spire, of course, being piloted by Princess Tutu. It is a Lumberjack with a Mercury to complement and an Artemis as well, so lots of fire going down here. And we have the Shellduck, another Spire, of course, being piloted by N. Barrett. It is the Flak with the Mercury on the front and Artemis on the port and a Flare on the starboard.
All right, and on the number 4 slot, we have the Moving Target being piloted by Abby the Rat. This is the Lumberjack Spire that they're going to be using today. This one has a Mercury on the front, and on the sides we have a Mine Launcher and an Artemis. On the number 5 slot, we have the Tower of Rikaga. I'm saying that right. Anyway, it is the heavy flak spire of this particular team, and on the top it has the Mercury gun. On the sides it has an Echidna and a Mine Launcher. Number 6 slot, rounding it all out, we have the Inspire Delphia, being piloted by Antoine Moon. This is the Hwacha Spire. On the top, it has the Artemis rocket launcher. On the sides, it has an Echidna and a Gatling.
This is spiring out of control. These puns in chat.
You can hear the face palms.
I actually did hear that. Moving target, dropping down of its own accord. If it loses its balloon, it's going to die pretty quick. I think that this might actually be the longest game that we've seen so far.
I would agree with you. I mean, as you called it, I mean, you have the Hwacha Spire, which, if it went in, would cause a little bit of time to be chipped off there because of the brawling happening. But the thing is, the Hwacha Spires aren't actually doing a whole heck of a lot.
Well, they're not going to for a good portion of the time. Now, these Mercuries are doing a surprising amount. Now, the Hydra's Sentinel, armor's not looking too sexy. There we go. Though it's going to eat more. These Mercuries are doing extremely well. There we go. Armor down, but I don't know if they can actually do anything to the hull. Ooh, flat going very low.
Wow! That one hits. There we go.
Yeah, the flak is actually out of range, even with Lesmok, I think.
Even if it was in range, it'd be almost impossible to hit it at going that far, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it was going to go really low anyways, but even the Mercury is almost out of range.
Yeah.
For that. Like, they are trying to stay as far away from each other as possible. No one wants to actually get close enough. So, looks like we get to see lollipops floating around for a little while here.
I always like to think of them as lawn darts.
Yeah, you were telling me that a while ago. I really wish that when Aspire died, it just dropped down and stuck in the ground.
That'd be amazing. Oh my god, we can make an entirely new mini game out of that.
That'd be so great. Like, oh,
Like
could
drop
you?
it as close to the bullseye.
Yeah, we have a team where we have one person on each side, and then one spire just goes forward, and the other one has a lumberjack, and the guy with a lumberjack. So they're on opposite teams, so this could work. The guy with the lumberjack is trying to pop the balloon at the other spire just the right time to get it to drop on a target.
Oh my god. The one time where I'd be okay with velcroing on the geometry. When you stick a spire into the ground.
Lollipop fields forever.
Oh, good god.
I did steal that from Sammy in chat. I will admit that.
All right, let's see. I mean, right now we just got the Tower of Brakaga being fired at by pretty much all the red team, and he's pretty safe behind this I-beam.
Yeah,
So, not a whole lot in total happening.
Yeah, the red
One of
team
these teams
is
is gonna
actually
have to
making
make
a
a
move.
move.
The red team is making a move for the ribs. So this may be our first actual bit of attempted progress in this game besides like just trying to fire shots fruitlessly.
Yeah, the one scene from almost every Western movie comes to mind where you got the good guy and the bad guy behind cover, just both poking their heads out for a split second, firing off a couple shots, then ducking back down, no one actually doing anything.
I'm kind of reminded of the card game Bang, if you've ever played it.
Yes!
I love Bang.
Yes!
I'm imagining the barrels right now.
Oh god.
People won't stop drawing hearts.
Oh god. I love that game.
That game is so good. It's a bunch of my buddies' favorite. We when we get together, we play that game a lot. Now the Tower of Brakaga is a little bit far away from its allies. The blue team did not see that the red team took position in the ribs, and the Tower of Brakaga is very far to the east compared to its allies. So its allies have got to get in there to try and help it quick.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, they're going in right now, but I'm not sure how useful they will end up being because they're going to have to make it so that they can get around the cover that the red team is using in the ribs over there. I mean, the only one that's 100% able to be hit right now is the doe, and it's not going to take a whole lot of damage, really.
It's surprising how well this spire is surviving after being out of cover for so long.
I mean, well, let's think about it, though. The Hwacha is completely out of range, so it's not going to do anything. To be able to hit it with a heavy flak, if it's even in range, is going to be requiring pinpoint accuracy. And I'm not even entirely sure that the Mercury can hit it that accurately at that range.
It's having trouble. I'm surprised it's actually having that much trouble, though. It's out of range of the Artemis now, so even if the Mercury could land, it's not doing a whole lot. Yeah, look at that, right out of range. Mercury goes high.
So now all we have right now is the Shelduck and the Hydra Sentinel still remaining in very good position. If the blue team decides to move forward, those two ships are in a very good position to try and catch them off guard.
Now, what I can
know they're there.
What I can see happening right now is the red team moving in on the blue team into the spawn, and then just sort of ripping through them over and over and over again. Shelduck, though, eating quite a bit of damage. Red team is not so coordinated in the way that they're moving out of these ribs here.
That's true. The Shelduck ends up getting focused down a lot. Its armor goes down. Its balloon is down. It's going to start dropping. And if they don't get that armor very quickly, it's going to actually just die. The thing is, now it has a lot more cover from the ribs now that it's dropped down a significant amount. The Hydra Sentinel, I would say, is actually the more vulnerable right now because it doesn't have a whole lot of places to go. And he's realizing this. He's trying to kind of maneuver around, but it's not going to work too well. You can't go left, right, and you can only go up and down, forward and back. And right now, back's the only place I would go.
Yeah, Shelduck actually the first bit of hull damage we've seen this game.
Yeah, the Tower of Brakaga has now lost its armor. Its hull is starting to take a little bit more damage, but its armor has gotten back up relatively quickly. We're seeing a lot of just stray shots going around because it's very, very hard to get accurate shots at this distance, no matter how good you are.
Yeah, it's tough, especially with the spires kind of moving back and forth. You see that a lot of these spires are not actually completely facing one another, and so they're backing up and moving forward, and it's making it difficult to hit them. They're kind of like ducks at a carnival, like the duck shooting games.
Oh yeah.
I don't
shell
know if
duck.
there's actually a technical name for those.
I always just call them shooting galleries.
Oh yeah, I guess maybe that's what they're called. Hydra Sentinel. Oof. Bumping against the rib. That is a costly mistake.
It is, because right now they noticed that and they unloaded everything. Thankfully, the crew was able to get its armor up just in time to save it from an almost devastating Hwacha barrage.
Oh, armor down, the flak.
Down.
The flak just went wide.
Absolutely, and now the Tower of Brakaga is safe behind its allies. Well, not behind its allies, near its allies. And it's taken a lot of damage. Its armor is down. Its balloon is now down, but its armor has just now gotten back up. They're using the drogue chute to see if they can slow down that downward fall that they've got going. And a lot of people have taken damage. No one is really at risk of dying quite yet.
Right now, I'd say any damage taken puts them at risk of dying. The hull on a Spire is so flimsy. And you see, like, the armor goes down, and they lose half their hull. Like, these armor breaks are very, very important at this range, at this point in the game. I'd actually say that all the red ships are in danger of dying at this point.
I don't know. As far as it goes, I mean, I'm fairly certain the one that is most at risk is the Hydra Sentinel. It's in the front, and it's got very little places to go.
Yeah. It's kind of forward. I mean, it has the cover. I think it'll be fine if anything really nasty happens, but at this point, the real trick is going to be for Red Team to actually step forward together. That's the real. That's going to be the real trick.
Yeah, you're going to see all those little lollipops just slowly making their way across the field if they decide to go forward, and that's going to give the blue team a lot of time to kind of reorganize themselves, because as scary as it might be seeing, three ships move the exact same time in the same direction, you got to keep in mind they are in fact Spires, and they go down rather easily. So the first team to make a move, I'm going to say, is probably going to be at the disadvantage here.
Yeah, that's why you saw the camping and canyon ambush. You don't want to be the team to make a move when it's an all-Spire match.
Yeah. And that's quite literally what we're saying. It's all camping right now. The Hydra Sentinel has just lost its armor because the Tower of Brakaga has taken the stand, and they're going forward. They're deciding that if anyone's going to die, it's going to be by their hand. The Shell Duck.
The spot's on it still. The Tower of Brakaga has sight on them, and the spot is going to stay. This is very dangerous for the poor Shell Duck.
Down goes the Shell Duck.
First blood. Finally.
The Hydra Sentinel is now in a very compromising position. The Tower of Brakaga and the moving target both have clear shots on it if they so desire. The Hydra Sentinel is now taking damage from all of it. Its armor goes down, and it goes down as well. The Tower of Brakaga, I think, is the one who ended up getting that kill. The Doe is all alone.
The Tower of Brakaga is their flak Spire. And of course, when it's that close, then the flak can really get in there. I mean, it's a little bit difficult to bring the Spire's armor up. Now, when you have like a squid or a goldfish, the armor is readily available and it's very weak, so it's easy to rebuild. On a Spire, the armor is weak, but it's not in a very convenient location, and so the armor will stay down a little bit longer. That makes the flak, I'd say, potentially the most valuable asset on either of these teams.
Absolutely. I mean, with something as fragile as this, and if you look at the Spire itself, actually, real quick, if we zoom in on one, for those of you who don't know, that armor is right behind where the pilot is, down that ramp right there, and it's a pretty good distance away from almost everything else.
Yeah, you usually have a gunner and an engineer down on the second level, so we can run down to the third level and repair stuff. And then the guy on top is usually manning a gun. He's the closest one to actually be able to repair the armor. But oftentimes he's also jumping down, and he's away from the armor, so it stays down for a while.
Yeah, I mean, if you get to it, you pretty much have to take a ramp either way. And that'll slow you down just a little bit, and that little bit's usually what ends up either getting you killed or saved.
Yeah, in my experience, yes. I agree. Now the Doe. is a little bit behind the Shell Duck and Hydra Sentinel, but the red team wants to use these clouds to try and close distance.
And here we are seeing we are a fairly decent way into this match, and we only have 2 kills. It's shaping up to be a very long match.
Yep, get comfy. Grab a snack.
We might be here a while.
Yep, just, I don't know. Kick off your shoes. Get comfy. Uh-oh, the dope has been spotted. Now, the blue team sees which direction the red team is going. It saw which way the dope was going, and so the blue team can probably make a good guess that the other red ships are moving in. And there's the first volley. Watch it. Goes into the balloon, mostly, of the moving target. In the meantime, the armor of what? One of the armors went down. Oh, the dope went down. Just out there way too long. Yeah, I'm surprised it survived that long, even. But now, the Hydra Sentinel and the Shell Duck are out here pretty far. Gatling going in. Watcher goes out on the Inspire Delphia. And that's going to do it. The armor went down, and the flak did plenty. Now, the moving target is going to be the next target, I think. But the Tower of Brakaga is moving in. It is facing the wrong way, though, and it is caught in a dust storm. This is going to be a 2v1, and I think that's all that the red team needs to clean up the moving target. Ooh, second flak doesn't quite get the kill, but once the armor goes down again, the moving target is gone.
Inspire Delphia is now very, very exposed. There is nothing anywhere close to it for it to kind of duck behind, and they are already moving in that direction, firing off what shots they can. The Doe, however, I believe, is going right after the Tower of Brakaga. It is now farther behind everyone. It's actually not really shooting the Tower of Brakaga. It's remained unspotted so far.
Yeah, it's just trying to move in right now. It's speeding forward. The Tower of Brakaga can't really do anything. The Shell Duck getting hit right now. They're going to be able to bring the armor back up as the 2 spires turn. Can they actually get the kill? The Echidna doing quite a bit. Flak goes wide. Hydra Sentinel now firing on the Tower of Brakaga. Watcher goes out. Disables the Typhon. Armor's down. Can they get the kill? The moving target and Inspired Delphia are coming in from the side, but they are not going to go in after the Tower of Brakaga goes down. This is exactly what I was talking about. If the red team can get this ball rolling in the blue spawn, they are going to pick up kill after kill.
Absolutely. Just like that, they swing it back in their favor from 0 to 3 to 4 to 3. That is one heck of an engagement.
Watcher goes out on the Hydra Sentinel. Only a couple land. They don't hit anything important.
Yeah. Here we're going to see the Shell Duck. It's the most vulnerable right now, except for the fact that the Hydra Sentinel's armor has just gone down. It is extremely vulnerable.
Inspired Delphia. There we go. Hydra Sentinel's down. The Doe has come in, however. The Tower of Brakaga is getting easy shots on the Shell Duck right now. And if something isn't done about that close spire, the red team is going to lose this engagement.
There he goes.
5th kill for the blue team. And the Doe is all alone. It gets the kill on the Inspired Delphia, however. Now, if it can just get one more kill, it can make this even, but the moving target and the Tower of Brakaga are already firing in on it. Echidna shots coming out. That's going to be it for the Doe once more. 5 to 6.
That was nail-biting. I mean, that swung in everyone's favor at least once.
That was very close. Now, I liked the move that the red team did. I feel like they got just a little bit too aggressive. They went in too far. They needed to sweep in from the side more and not put themselves in the middle of all of those spawns. You saw the Tower of Brakaga just kind of came in from the side and from the rear and was left alone for a good portion of that time.
It was, and at first I was actually thinking that the Tower of Brakaga was in the worst possible position, but it ended up working out in their favor, really.
It's because the red ships had already picked a target.
Yeah, I mean, they were getting the tunnel vision, they were wearing the blinders, and they just did not seem to even care about the Tower of Brakaga until it was too late.
Sunderland makes a point. We just saw 9 kills in a single engagement.
Yeah, I mean, we did, and that's pretty impressive no matter how you look at it.
Now, this game is going actually a significant amount of time.
It is. I mean,
15 minutes left on the timer, so there are timers. So
I was almost questioning the need for timers in this particular game, but it seems like it's going to come into effect here. It very well might.
now the blue team is moving, trying to get over behind the Leviathan for cover, but it looks like the red team has spotted them and has already begun firing shots down. Now the Shelduck actually getting the worst of it right now.
Oh, the red team has got to be so careful right now. They are 1 kill away, and as we've seen with an all-spire match, 1 kill can happen almost instantaneously.
Oh, beacon flare gun goes down on the Shelduck because of the dust storm. They'll be fine. Red team's gonna back up. Now the blue team right now, they are a little bit staggered, just a little bit. But I think that's okay. I think, though, it would behoove them to move a little bit closer together because I say the moving target is about, I don't know, half a kilometer behind its allies. It really wants to be farther forward to make it difficult to pick a target.
The Watchers are going out, and they're not going to hit anything. They're just too far away. It's a little bit of a scare tactic at that point, I feel. Even if you don't hit them, you see this giant barrage of rockets coming right for your face. It's going to make you think twice.
Yeah, Watcher goes out. Now, it's kind of interesting how the red team is pretty clustered together, and that means that the Hwacha is actually still hitting targets, even if they're not so accurate. Ooh, the dope getting a little bit of damage.
Only a little bit, though. It's still doing fairly okay. There's not a whole lot of room for error on Aspire, but I feel like they could take at least one flak shot if they had to.
Yeah, I'd say that's not really what you want to do, especially since the blue team is 1 kill from victory.
That is very true. The thing is, we also need to kind of take into account that the blue team is only 2 kills away from losing as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not really an insurance here. I mean, if you mess up, you very well might lose your team this game.
Yeah, but neither team is going to give that quarter. Look at this. They're lining up. It's like a shooting gallery right now. Hydra Sentinel eating a lot of damage. The Mercury being used to great effect. Hitting the armor, disabling
components. Disabled.
Front guns down. Yeah, front guns down. Not that big of a deal, but what is a big deal is that the armor is down.
It just got back up.
It's on the Artemis at this range. I think it's pretty much all on the Artemis. However, the armor on the Tower of Brakaga goes down. They're going to eat a little bit of damage. The Lumberjack doing quite a bit of work as well. Going to make it difficult for the Tower of Brakaga to actually land shots. The lower these spires are, the more dangerous it is. And if this Lumberjack keeps targeting the Tower of Brakaga, it might bottom out.
It very well might. I mean, the height ceiling on Battle on the Dunes is significantly lower than it is on Northern Fjords, so that does become a very big thing that you need to worry about, especially with a ship that has such a vertical presence. There's not a whole lot of room for error there.
Yeah, and it looks like we lost the spots though, so Tower Brakaga is just going to have a low balloon for a little while longer. Moving target though, facing away. These clouds are going to give these teams a bit of a break. At the end of the day, a lot of chip damage going out onto red team. You see that Hydra Sentinel down to about, I'd say, like 3/4 perma-hull. That's significant damage.
Yeah, it really is, especially on such a soft ship.
Yeah, every little bit of damage is going to matter in these games. Like, once you get close and the flak starts doing its work, it doesn't matter as much. But if these teams stay at this range, then that little bit of chip damage is going to be very important. That means that the red team probably wants to move in right now and try to make use of that flak. Shelduck, however, eating a lot of damage. Their armor stays up just barely.
Okay, here we go. The red team is starting to move ever closer to the blue team. It's going to become very, very difficult for those shots to continue missing very soon. Something is going to happen very quickly.
As soon as they hit a certain point, those shots are very difficult to miss. Now, the dust cloud is rolling in. They don't quite want to move in just yet. They're backing up. They're just lining up their shots. But they don't want to go in quite yet. They want to wait for these 2 dust storms to roll by, and then they might make their move. We'll have to see.
I just love this formation. It might not actually end up working out for them, but I love the formation that the red team's in right now.
It's pretty.
Very, very well done. Very nice geometry.
It's very pretty. Blue team, in the meantime, just a little bit spread out. Tower of Brakaga is a little bit behind. It's actually a little bit forward, I'd say, of its allies. The red team is facing directly toward him. That was the last ship that they saw. And they are going to be focusing down the tower, I think. Yeah, look at this. It's moving forward. Like, this is a terrible situation for the blue team. I don't think they realized that the tower was spotted. And so the other blue ships are moving back. Tower Brakaga trying to get a little bit closer. That little bit of distance could make all the difference.
The Hydra Sentinel accidentally bumps onto the shell duck there for a second.
Spots.
The spots are going out. The Tower of Brakaga is getting focused down by all the red team. Unfortunately, the Hydra Sentinel armor is down. Its balloon is down. It's going to start taking a huge amount of damage. There it goes.
Oh, that was quick. They spot each other and they just flail each other's arms at one another.
That was nail biting at the end there.
That was probably the shortest engagement ever. At that very end there,
spots go down, everybody dies.
And they just sort of they saw each other and just flung everything they had.
Yeah, it was the fire everything moment.
Good calling, Miss Molly. That was those engagements that when they were that close. It was the distance that really made the difference at the very end there.
Absolutely.
The red team had to have been scared to actually get that close.
Very much so. I mean, like we said earlier, once you get within a very certain distance, especially with those flak shots, it becomes leagues easier to hit those shots a lot more accurately. And so once they got within that, it was over for one of those teams.
Yeah. Now, I think, let's see. Checking. I'm checking to see if we have one more game. I'm actually not sure. All right, I think, yeah, because the other Timmy B weeks have been 3 games. I think that's going to be it for this week. I'm not getting any word contrary. I don't think they have anything special planned for this week. If not, waiting on word. But wow, that was a quick week. That was an hour and 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Good golly, trying to keep track of 3 spires as they just die over and over is just unbelievably difficult.
It's painful.
Oh, they're dying. Now they're dying. Now they're dying.
Now we're dying.
Now we're dying. Yeah, exactly. That's going to be it for this week for the Timmy B tournament. Week number 5. You have been watching Spires flogging each other. That was absolutely ridiculous. Either way, thank you very much, Rotted B, for joining me in on this insanity.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Yep, it's been a pleasure having all of you watching. I'll see you next week for Timmy B tournament week number 6. Hopefully right here on twitch.tv/The Rob and Dan Show or robanddan.tv/live. You can catch us on either. Again, I've been Fourth Oracle. You can find me over at twitch.tv/Fourth Oracle. I stream every so often. Also, the Sunday Community Skirmish is going to be there tomorrow at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
And I have been Rotted Beef. You can find me outside your window at night.
Well, that's not creepy. Thank you and big shout out to Rob for doing the camera and all the stream stuff. He's been an absolute trooper. Thank you, everyone, for joining once again. This has been the Timmy B tournament. Farewell for now. Or sorry, I guess if I'm taking the place of Dan. Good night now.